It's time for another update, Miss Cat. Another year has passed. It's good to see everyone again, and I hope that everyone is doing well. For this year, I was thinking of doing something a little different. In the past of these yearly update videos, I've been kind of revisiting some previous things that I've done. I did an art video, I did a video games video. I thought about doing maybe a movie review for this year, but I ultimately decided against it. I thought that dig a deep dive into the history of my channel, kind of my thoughts as I was going through it, my ideas, kind of just where I wanted everything to kind of pan out. And then we'll see what the plans for the future are. I'd always intended a video like this to kind of come at around a milestone. Like, I think when I originally started this channel, my plan was to do a video like this at the 100 subscriber milestone, but it's been 8 years, and I think I was a little optimistic with my numbers, and I think I was a little too focused on the numbers. We're gonna jump into it, and then I'll see you at the end of the video. So, as I had mentioned in the opening, this is going to be kind of a history of my channel and just kind of a general idea of things that I've been up to, and to kind of clarify, I suppose, what my original ideas for this channel were. A synopsis, really, like a deep dive into my channel, and the history surrounding it, the emotions I felt while making it, and kind of giving more insight, because I feel like I struggled a lot with emoting and making my presence kind of felt. So the journey of my channel truly began in 2014, between my freshman and sophomore year of college. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I was a chemistry major. I had enjoyed chemistry in high school. I really enjoyed learning about the periodic table of elements. Chemistry at the high school level is a lot different than chemistry at the college level, and long story short, I was having doubts, because while I could push myself to do it, I wasn't really sure I wanted to. A lot of the careers in chemistry were sitting at a desk, staring at test tubes. I wasn't really feeling it. I felt like it wasn't really for me at that point. My friend and I were talking, and ultimately he was like, well, if you're not happy, switch to something that makes you happy. After giving it some thought, at the time, had been really getting into YouTube, or specifically watching YouTube, I really felt like I wanted something in that field. So, when I returned to school, I decided to switch majors from chemistry to communication. So it was around this time, after I had switched majors, and I had decided that I wanted to do something with YouTube. I wanted to do some kind of channel. In my mind, I thought I definitely want to do Let's Plays at some point, and as I was going to school, I also realized my love of art, my interest in drawing, and up until that point, I had never really created much art. Like, I had doodled a couple of times in notebooks growing up. I had never really drawn before. At the time, I was really into the television show My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. It was a huge sensation around that time. Because of that, I spent a lot of time looking at fan art online, and one of the artists that I had discovered was an artist by the name Red Aparopos. At the time, Red and his art were these little short comics of the My Little Pony characters. I was fascinated with it. I was like, that. I want to do something with that. Like, I wanted to do art. I wanted to create my own art. And I didn't learn this for many years until recently, but I have what is known as aphantasia. To briefly describe, aphantasia is the inability to visualize. If I close my eyes and I think about an apple, or I think about anything, I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. I cannot visualize a smell, a touch, a sound, a taste, a sight. For my whole life, when people said, close your eyes and picture this, I always thought it was just a figure of speech, a prompt to get you to think about something, to focus on something. Until recently, I had no idea people could actually close their eyes and see images, hear sounds, be in environments. It was mind-blowing. Getting back on topic, though, because of my aphantasia, my interest with art was also fueled by not seeing other artists draw the images that I had ideas for. And because I couldn't just close my eyes and visualize, say, Red Aparos doing a comic that I had an idea for, I decided I was going to learn how to draw and do it myself. So I would look at the image and I would draw it in front of me to just be like, I'm not tracing. I was making a big deal about not tracing. And that was when I created the first image that I uploaded to my DeviantArt. So, as you can see, I drew multiple characters, and then at the bottom, I drew what I would describe as my first OCs. On the left side was my OC at the time. I had long hair, if you remember, and his name was the Critical Wizard. And then my friend Cody, his character I named High Beats because he liked music and he liked smoking weed. Creative, I know. So that was kind of my introduction to drawing. Over the years, I have improved my art style quite a bit. I never really got any kind of traction with my art. I never really had people who had any strong feelings one way or the other. I don't know if it was just they didn't like my art and they moved on because it didn't bother them enough to leave an angry comment or something, or if they liked my art but not enough to leave a comment and say, hey, good job, oh, keep up the good work. Honestly, I have no idea. Over the years, I've learned to focus more on art for myself, and I haven't posted any art online in probably over a year, just because I decided that it's not for them. It's not for anyone, except for me. Getting back on topic here, I decided to start drawing. I decided at the time I was going to be an animator. I really wanted to do animations. I wanted to do character work with these characters that I had created, Critical Wizard and High Beats. My friend Cody at the time was also interested in doing like music videos, like he wanted to do like short animated music videos, like little projects. He wanted to learn the bass guitar and do stuff with that. And so we decided that we were going to make a YouTube channel together. We were going to do the animated shorts. We had music videos. It was going to be mostly My Little Pony related content. And then on the side, we were also thinking that maybe I would do some comics as well. Like, in between animations and music videos, I could do comics on the side. That was the plan. It didn't work. But that is why my original channel's name was Celestia's Nightmare. The whole theme of our channel was going to be my character. The whole point of the story was, for some reason, he's been kicked out of this city and he's now in the main city from the show, and the interactions he has with the main characters, the interactions he has with the high beats as they become friends, and it was going to kind of be this very elaborate interaction-based comic and animated series, and like with music videos on the side, and it was none of that ever happened. None of that was ever going to happen, because neither myself nor Cody could truly understand the workload that amount of commitment would take. I had just started drawing, like, within a couple months, and I severely underestimated how difficult animation was going to be. How difficult even just drawing well enough to do comics was going to be. I think at one point I had an idea to do like the lead guitar. Like, I was gonna learn guitar, and again, I really underestimated how difficult it was to learn an instrument, let alone learn an instrument well enough to put it into a music video. Celestia's Nightmare was no longer feasible as it was originally intended. We need to talk about my other project at the same time with a different friend, Lost Boys Productions. Lost Boys Productions was a pipe dream project that my friend Alex at the time and I were really into. And we both had a passion for filmmaking at the time. We both had these very big dreams of where we wanted to be. We decided to launch a Kickstarter to try to drum up interest for our filmmaking company that we wanted to try to launch, just the two of us. It was going to be consistent of short films with an overarching storyline, and we had this idea for like a post-apocalyptic character, and just the interactions of maybe like just a day-to-day life or something. And we had these wild dreams that, again, like with my friend Cody, neither of us had any idea how to make those dreams into a reality. We had a teaser video for the Kickstarter that we thought that, oh yeah, this is gonna be the thing. People are gonna be slamming at the gate to get money to us so that we can make this little pipe dream of ours. So it didn't happen. Nobody was interested. I don't think we raised a single dollar on that Kickstarter, and if we did, I didn't know about it. I think we just really underestimated how difficult a project like that was going to be. Back to Celestia's Nightmare. I had already created the channel that I had intended to do with Cody. I was already I was already committed. I was like, okay, so the entire idea of what we started this channel for, and now Cody had dropped out, and it was like, I had ultimately decided I was going to do it on my own. I don't have the animation skill. I don't have the artistic skill to do the original plan. I'm going to do the video game Let's Plays. But I wasn't sure how to start. I didn't have the equipment in my mind to record video game Let's Plays. I thought there was a lot more involved to it than there was. Like, I didn't have a video gaming PC at the time. I didn't have any kind of recording software to use my Xbox that I did have, like, I didn't want to start until I felt like everything was perfect. Like, oh, I've got this. I was still determined to make it on my own. I was very much determined that I was going to do the YouTube stuff. Enter the Ice Bucket Challenge. The Ice Bucket Challenge was a video idea to spread awareness for ALS. And lots of celebrities and YouTubers were all doing the Ice Bucket Challenge, and even on, like, personal levels, people would challenge their friends on Facebook to do the Ice Bucket Challenge of either pour ice on your head or donate to ALS. August 17th, 2014, I uploaded my very first video to my channel. In that video, I actually challenged my friends Cody and Alex. Like, this was the first video that I had actually posted to this channel that I had created. And at this time, I was still convinced I could do it all. I could do everything under the sun. I could do animations, movie reviews, video game let's plays, comics. I could become president of the United States. I thought I could do it all. I just didn't know where to start. A month later, on September 23rd, 2014, I uploaded my very first movie review, The Amazing Spider-Man Review Part 1, a 25, almost 26-minute video where I am standing against a plain white wall in my basement, and I am rambling on and on about Spider-Man while trying not to sound like I am reading off the script that I have clearly written for the entire video. It goes about as well as you'd imagine for a first actual video. All things considered, I had done something. I had sat down, I decided what I wanted to do, and it wasn't just in my head anymore. It was actually in the world. It was out for people to see. A couple of days later, still in September, I uploaded my very first sketch. So, the sketch, behind the scenes, was for my communication classes. The project was release a black and white short video with no sound. I came up with the idea to have a short, animated, overly, like, hokey, exaggerated journey of me down the stairs to make myself some toast. My friend comes over, my friend trips me and the toast falls on the ground. But ultimately, not a bad entry into our early YouTube career. October 31st, the end of the month, I release a video, a 1-minute animation of a skeleton dancing to the Spooky Scary Skeletons theme in front of various pre-rendered backdrops that was in the animation program I was using. Again, this was a project for school. This was actually for my animation class. And at the time, I thought that this was just a very silly little one-off animation. Looking at it now, it really is bare bones. No pun intended. It is just, again, these pre-rendered backdrops, this just loop animation of this skeleton dancing around. It doesn't really show much. It's not really impressive. Jumping ahead a couple of weeks, we are now November 17th of 2014. I created my second sketch, again for one of my classes, myself and my brother interacting about a series of Goosebumps books, and about how the book that was my favorite, my brother always hated. That was the joke. So then we have a bit of a time jump in my early YouTube channel. I, at the beginning of 2015, went to the video game convention PAX East. And that is where I met a lot of my favorite YouTubers. Talking with them, I realized that they were guys. They were normal people. They were passionate about their filmmaking, whatever. It was a very good day, and it really inspired me to get started on my actual YouTube Let's Plays and actually starting YouTube. If you want to learn more about my PAX trip that I had, I will link the animatic thing that I posted on a channel that nobody's ever heard of because I never promoted it, and you can watch that video there if you are so interested. Going to PAX and meeting my YouTube heroes really inspired me, and it made me realize these were just regular guys, and their number one advice at the time was just, oh, you want to be a YouTuber? Start making videos. You can't be a YouTuber if you don't have any videos. And I came home really inspired, and I looked at my YouTube channel, saw the 8 videos that I had looking me in the face, and I thought, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna do it. And so I did. I decided that I didn't need to have the perfect quality. I didn't need to have the perfect setup. I took my video camera, I pointed it at my television screen, I took my laptop, I had it pointed at my face, and I had to wait till it got dark enough so that I could record the screen adequately. And then I uploaded on March 25th, 2015, my very first Let's Play video. And it was The Nightmare Begins Dark Souls Let's Play. I had talked about it last year, in last year's video. When I played Dark Souls on my channel, I had only previously beaten it one time. I wasn't as familiar with the game as I am with it now, because I've had years of playing this game. When I uploaded this playthrough, it was literally the second time I had played that game. I had played it a couple of times on my own, but I had never really beaten the game more than once. But Dark Souls was a huge milestone on my channel, because again, it was the very first Let's Play that I uploaded. It was the very first video that I decided was good enough to get started into that world. So while I was playing Dark Souls, on April 12th of 2015, I started my second Let's Play series of Banjo-Kazooie. I have never played Banjo-Kazooie. I have not played Banjo-Kazooie since stopping my video series on this. And I really wanted the game to be something that it wasn't for me. Like, I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for that video game. I'd never played it before. I had zero information about the story, about anything. I knew of it because JonTron talked about it. Banjo-Kazooie was very frustrating, and it did not handle very well, at least not on the Xbox port. I played that game as much as I could until I got to the desert level, where there was a timer that you had to beat to get into the top of the temple. But the way the game was set up, the timer was ticking down while you were stuck in a forced cutscene. So, and I looked it up online, the only way to get into that temple before time ran out was to glitch and break the game and basically, like, glitch your way to the top to get in with only a second or two to spare. And it is one of the only games on my channel that I never finished and I will never go back to, because I just had such a miserable time playing it. June 1st, 2015, I uploaded my fourth sketch, the top 10 things the government doesn't want you to know. Third most popular video on my channel with 465 views. I think in the beginning it got a lot of traction because people didn't realize it was a joke. July 17th of 2015, I uploaded a video called Locks of Love, which in itself is not necessarily a sketch. It was me donating my hair to Locks of Love, which is a legitimate organization. But it ended up kind of being a little bit of a sketch because it had the two Matts like interacting with each other, and I believe this is the first incident of multiple Matts interacting with each other. At the end of that video, there was a comment by myself as like a behind the scenes as I was like turning off the camera, where I was like, nobody's gonna watch this video. At the time, so about a year into making videos, I was painfully aware that none of my videos were getting any traction. None of my, I wasn't building any fan base, I wasn't building any audience, and I was painfully aware that my dream of doing it all was a lot harder than I had thought. So the following day, on the 18th, I uploaded a Five Nights at Freddy's video where I was playing Five Nights at Freddy's because Five Nights at Freddy's 4 was scheduled to release soon, and I thought that if I got on the cutting edge of that video game's release, that maybe I could use that to boost my popularity skyward. But I decided that I should play the first 3 games before I uploaded the 4th one. So I started playing the first Five Nights at Freddy's. I had bought and downloaded the 2nd and 3rd Five Nights at Freddy's. I never played the 2nd or 3rd Five Nights at Freddy's. I had them, but I never played them. Five Nights at Freddy's was pretty challenging, and I don't really like scary games. I thought that I could, like, it would make some good reactions for, like, a video, but even in these videos when I get scared, my face doesn't really react. I don't really show any emotion about it. So that, like everything in this early mid-years of my channel, never panned out the way I expected it to. August 17th, 2015, I uploaded my first yearly review of my channel. August 15th, 2015. Portal was one of my favorite games that I had played on my channel, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing Portal. And then I went on to play Portal 2 on September 19th of the same year. I had previously played and beat Portal and Portal 2 before playing them on the channel, but like Dark Souls, I had only really played through them once or twice. Compared to the rage-inducing Banjo-Kazooie, Portal and Portal 2 were very solid games to play. So on January 20th of 2016, I started playing Spec Ops: The Line. That game was pretty fun. I had a good time with it, but there was definitely some moments of frustration toward the end, but I enjoyed the game nonetheless. On March 12th, 2016, I started my Dead Space 2 playthrough. I really had enjoyed Dead Space 2 on the Xbox. Dead Space was the other game on my channel that I never finished because I got to basically the final encounter with the wrong equipment loadout. I just didn't have enough ammunition to fight the endless waves of the little, like, children zombie things that, like, scratch you and kill you. I didn't have enough health packs. I didn't have enough ammunition to survive. Like, the whole point of that segment was to survive. And unfortunately, my loadout was just incorrect, and I didn't have a save or anything to go back, because I was right at the end of the game. On May 9th, 2016, I attempted my third time of starting a movie review series in what I called Critical Critiques. So the idea with this at the beginning was to pick a topic discussion rather than picking a movie. And the idea was to give examples of movies that did that discussion topic correctly and movies that did that discussion topic incorrectly. But it very quickly turned into me rambling on about some of my favorite movies at the time. And while there, as I had mentioned in one of my later movie review segments, that there were a couple of good episodes to come out of this era of movie reviews, most of them aren't very good, and most of them you can just kind of skip right by. On July 20th of 2016, I began my Undertale playthrough. Undertale was a game that I had seen Jacksepticeye play, and I thought, yes, that's a fun game. I can do that. And I actually had played Undertale previously. August 17th, 2016, I uploaded the second year review. This one is less of a skit like the first year and more of just a really long, rambling video similar to this one, where I just ramble on for way too long. I think I really just wanted an excuse to wear my suit that I had just got at the time. I also was trying to put on a brave face. I was trying to seem more optimistic for the future than I was at that moment. I was feeling the pressure of not having any YouTube views and not taking off at the end of the first year. So by the second year, I was really in the thick of it, and I was really unhappy, but I was trying to put on this brave face to trick myself, to trick others that my channel was going well and that I was happy with how it was going. Just as a quick side note, in February 15th of 2016, that was when I decided to change my channel's name from Celestia's Nightmare to Wanderer's Nightmare. Because it had occurred to me after almost a year and a half of posting videos to the channel called Celestia's Nightmare, I had done absolutely nothing with the My Little Pony franchise. Ultimately, there was nothing MLP related to my channel, and to have something that was completely unrelated to where my channel was as the title of my channel, I decided that was time to change the channel over to something else. And I came up with Wanderer's Nightmare, because I was a wanderer. I felt very lost at this time. I felt very drifting through the world. Like I was still looking for my place. I wasn't really finding my footing, and I felt like I was wandering in circles. On January 9th, 2017, I uploaded my unfinished animation, the third animation to my channel, and the one at this point I had been teasing for like 2 years that I was working on. I was working on this big animation. I had this huge animated music video undertaking that I had been waiting for, and ultimately I had experienced a problem with Toon Boom Animation before, where the program would randomly crash. The mouse cursor would not be synced up with what was actually happening. It was just something that had happened in the settings because of the crash. It was just a calibration that you could not change in the program while it was broken. So the animated project that I'd been working on for 2 years at that point, I was devastated. I was so upset. I was so mad. And it was like, I had put so much work and effort into this project, and then it could never be finished because I couldn't work in that program because of the animation crash. But it was a very sad day. A lot of time wasted. On January 21st of 2017, I started my Saints Row 4 playthrough. Saints Row 4 was really fun, and I really wanted to bring that energy to the channel, especially since I had just finished, or I stopped playing Dead Space 2. I wanted to play a game that I really enjoyed. I really wanted to show off my character and what I could do in a video game that worked the way I wanted it to. But this started the era of the fast forwarding. Like, I had used the fast forwarding in some of my other playthroughs, but like in a story-driven playthrough like Undertale, you couldn't really fast forward because I had to do the dialogue. I had to like read all the dialogue. But in Saints Row 4, I really started just having a majority of the episode be a fast-forwarded me completing the mission with no commentary, no face cam, just kind of, yep, this is what we're doing. Fast forward to the end. Get it to the 10-minute mark. That was all I could give it. March 6th, 2017, I uploaded my first drawing video to the channel. Now, for the last 3 years at this point, I had been drawing in the background. I had been focusing on my art, focusing on getting my drawing to be where I wanted it to be at the time, and I had been focusing a lot just on my own personal goals for art. At the time, I had discovered channels like Drawfee, where they were posting videos of them doing art, and I thought, oh, I could do that. And so I started this series of trying to upload pictures of myself drawing. Now, my drawing style is very much hand-drawn on paper and then scanned into a computer to be colored later. That had its various effects of my shoulder being in frame and the drawing not being very legible, and, it had its ups and downs, as all of my projects tended to do. On April 19th, 2017, I started my Night in the Woods series. Night in the Woods is another game that Jacksepticeye had played that I really connected with and I really enjoyed, and I really wanted to take my time and do a video game series like that. With Night in the Woods, I used it as an opportunity to do voices, to do my take on the characters, to do more side missions, and I really enjoyed how Night in the Woods turned out. Unlike the Saints Row series, which was going on at the same time, which was just a fast-forward fest, Night in the Woods was slow. It took its time. I read the dialogue. I did the voices, and I was really putting more personality into it. And it was definitely a series I was more interested in. Whereas Saints Row was just the series where I did the mission, blew things up, and collected all the data clusters. And Night in the Woods was different. Night in the Woods was definitely better. On May 22nd, 2017, I uploaded my first coloring video to the channel. It was a picture that I had already previously drawn, and I had uploaded it into my drawing program, and I was now going through the process of coloring it. If I remember correctly, this was before I had my drawing tablet, and my coloring process back then was very different than it is now. It was very much, I was using the trackpad on my laptop. I was drawing everything square by square. It took me way longer to do coloring back then than it does now. My coloring has definitely improved a lot in the years since this video has come out. August 17th, 2017, my third year review came out. And it was mostly, again, just another review of me looking at where the channel has been, kind of trying to put on a false front, just trying to really power through and just be like, yep, we've made it another year, we're still going strong, I can still take on the universe. And it's like, I was really struggling at this point. I was not happy with where the channel was. I was not happy with the work I was putting into it. And while I was still working my way through Night in the Woods and Saints Row, it wasn't panning out the way I had imagined it in my mind. January 15th, 2018. The return to reviews. In my fourth attempt at creating a movie review segment, I decided to actually do what I should have been doing the entire time, which was watching the films to then create a list of notes to talk about in a short review segment. The first of these new reviews was me critiquing my old reviews. There were a couple that turned out pretty well, but ultimately that 25-part series was just mostly unwatchable. However, I ran into a snag of copyright claims, where on the second review that I released, there was a 1-second clip that was claimed in a video that caused the entire video to glitch out. The video, when it got to that point, would freeze, and you had to take the cursor and actually move it past 5 seconds past that point and hit play again to play the rest of the video. Because of that, I decided, I shouldn't be uploading movie clips because that could happen again. So I ultimately decided to start coloring the backgrounds. So I would have a flat image, just talk over that for 10-15 minutes. The other theme in that review series was this interaction between the two Matts. The idea being that there was one Matt who was wearing a mask that distorted his voice, and the other Matt who was like, nah, I'm not doing your stupid idea. That was kind of the running joke. And honestly, doing those reviews, when editing those videos, I was more interested in making those live action segments with the two Matts entertaining than the review itself. I put a lot of work into the reviews, but I was definitely more interested in the skit portion of the reviews. March 3rd of 2018, I uploaded my first part of my Batman Arkham Origins playthrough. I really, really, really enjoyed Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Arkham Asylum being my favorite video game of all time. Arkham City being a very good follow-up to my favorite video game of all time. I had never played Arkham Origins before. Despite being the B team at Rocksteady, handled pretty well. It was basically just a reskin of Arkham City with different voice actors, different animations, different storylines and everything. But ultimately, it was a pretty good game. It wasn't as polished and good as Arkham Asylum or Arkham City, but as a standalone Batman game, it was pretty good, and I definitely enjoyed my time playing it. On April 4th, 2018, I played the Transformers Devastation game. I liked that game a lot because it was in a similar style to the old 86 Transformers show, which my favorite movie was the 1986 Transformers movie. So I really liked that style transferred into the video game very well. And I had a lot of fun with that series. July 18th, 2018, I started my Batman Arkham Asylum playthrough. As I said when I was with the Batman Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum is my favorite video game of all time. And to be honest, I wish I handled this series a little better, because I knew so much information about Batman Arkham Asylum. I had played that game so much. And yet there is so much of these videos where it's just the cutscenes. It's my face is not on camera. It's just sped up footage. Or I've cut out a lot of it. Arkham Asylum was probably one of the first video game, like legitimate video games I ever played. And it had a huge impact on me. And I really, really enjoyed it. But none of that came across in the video. There were so many long periods where I was just silently enjoying the game, and it didn't really make for an exciting Let's Play series. August 17th, 2018, Year 4. This one is more of a straightforward review, saying how the channel was going. At this point, I don't think I was trying to exude fake confidence. I think I had fully accepted that the channel was dead and it was never going to take off. And I had kind of just committed myself to finishing another year. I was like, if I can get to year 5, that'll be fine. I can stop at that point. On December 1st, 2018, I started my Batman Arkham City playthrough. Whether I knew it or not at the time, I don't really remember, but I basically decided that at the end of Arkham City, that was going to be the end of my video game Let's Plays as well. I didn't really have any other games in my library that I wanted to play. I definitely was burnt out with creating Let's Plays to begin with. And again, I'm really sad that Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, two of my favorite games of all time, just got the treatment that they did. Because I thoroughly enjoyed my playthroughs of them. It didn't carry on to camera. On June 8th, 2019, I uploaded my final Let's Play, and this was the end of Arkham City. This was the end of just doing Let's Plays in general, and this was basically the end of my YouTube journey. Because it's like, even though I had 2 months left before the end, I was done. I didn't have anything else to say. I was very burnt out. I was very upset. Like, YouTube was no longer a passion of mine. It was just a obligation. And it was just a time consumer. And I was burnt out. So for 2 months, my channel sat with no uploads at all. And then finally, on August 17th, 2019, year 5, I came and made the official announcement that I was done. As if 2 months without any content wasn't clue enough that I had given up and that I had finally thrown in the towel. There was no review. There was no going back to where we were going. It was just kind of, well, everything's done. I'm done. And then I walked off camera, and at that moment, I legitimately didn't know if I was going to be back for another year. I didn't know if I was going to be done uploading videos permanently. I wasn't sure. Then we went to year 6. So after an entire year of not posting anything, on August 17th, 2020, I uploaded year 6, which was kind of a little bit of a review, but mostly it was just doing a coloring video, because I was coloring the character from my most popular video. I decided to color Vivella again. That was a nice video. I really enjoyed that one. It was nice. It was simple. And then it was done. And then last year, I uploaded year 7, which was a return of Dark Souls. It was just, I wanted to showcase the difference that I had in playing that game. But that was never going to jumpstart into another full series. There was just a nice little recap of where we had been and kind of what I've been up to in the intervening years between the end and now. And now we're at year 8, and that's kind of what this one is. Just another update video, just kind of, hey, I'm still alive. The main point after all this rambling, if you're still here at the end, thank you very much. But I guess the main point that I wanted to say by bringing up all of this stuff from the past is this past year I've been doing a lot of introspection. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection about myself, my history, how I've got here, not just on my YouTube channel, but just in my life in general. And I really just wanted to spend some time to just think about the past and think about what went wrong, what could have gone better, and I guess, in a sense, who I am. I guess the main driving factor that I really wanted out of my YouTube channel that I never received was I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't have a career in mind. I didn't have a passion. I didn't have any hobbies at the time when I started my YouTube channel. It was things that I've learned since starting my YouTube channel that have given me passions. Taking time to do things for myself and going on vacation, just enjoying life, which is something I'd never really learned how to do until recently. Honestly, what it seems like I wanted for my YouTube career was just a very small, dedicated fan base who wouldn't bother me, but would send me money. It sounds really bad to say it that way, but that's true. It's like I wanted like 100 or 200 people who just had nothing better to do with all that money than to send me a couple of bucks every month. And obviously that goal was just never feasible, and I'd never really even considered what that goal was until recently. And once you break it down and you look at like what you actually want out of this career, you quickly realize that that's not what's going to happen. I guess to end this off, I will just say that taking 3 years off of YouTube has just been really helpful to spend time focusing on myself, focusing on what I want, my own goals, my mental health, my physical health, my just living life without having an upload schedule, living life without worrying about anxieties or failing or whatever. It's just like, it's nice to be here. We're back. Thank you so much for checking out the video. I hope that it was somewhat interesting, and I hope that you learned a little bit more about me, and I hope that it really kind of helped you understand more where I was coming from and more what I had in mind for this channel. Thank you for checking out the video, and I'll see you guys next year. Take care.